If you are ready to get started in wholesaling real estate and get your first deal in under 2 weeks, get your first deal this month in wholesaling real estate and actually become successful, get successful and become rich in this business and do everything you possibly would want in your life, wholesaling real estate is the vehicle for that. It is the side hustle, the full-time thing. It is the thing that's going to change everything for you. So what is up, guys? My name is Zach Ginn, and in today's live stream, I want to really just take the entire live and really just talk about how to get started in wholesaling real estate. How do I start? How do I get my first deal? What is wholesaling real estate? There's so many of these questions I know you guys have out here. So many beginners that get started in this business, right? And so what I want to do is just have a recap today of the entire wholesaling process of how to start. And if you are brand new in this business, I think this is a perfect video for you because so many wholesalers, they pick up bad habits from broke wholesaling gurus and all these crazy people. And the honest truth is, if you can know exactly the right steps to take without the bad habits, sometimes you're better off than the people that have been wholesaling for a while, right? And so that's what I want to do today. That's what I want to share with you guys and really help you become the best wholesaler possible. So my name is Zach, and if you don't know who I am, I've done over 1,000 real estate wholesaling deals the past 6 years, and I'm 23 years old. I am planning on hopefully doing 1,000 wholesaling deals this year. I'm committed. That's what I'm working on, and we are on pace for that. So I'm excited for it. But that's kind of what I want to talk about today is, kind of a little bit of my journey, but most importantly, your journey and how you're going to get your first wholesaling real estate deal as soon as possible. So without further ado, let's break it down. Let's get it going and let's share everything. But before we get it going, before I share everything, guys, this is literally a $1,000 webinar or like whatever they do to sell you on it, right? This is it. I can make a lot of money selling courses and do all these things, but all I do is just get it out to you for free. So before we get into it, do me a favor, guys, make sure you smash that like button, hit that subscribe button. The first question you're going to have, and I get it, I get asked this all the time. This is a huge question, but what is wholesaling real estate? What is this thing I scream about? Why do I talk about it all the time? What is wholesaling real estate? In all honesty, wholesaling real estate is a very simple process. I think a lot of wholesalers complicate this process. They try to make everything so crazy and stressful, but the honest truth, guys, is this business is all about having conversations with people and getting problems solved. That is basically what I found. Like that is this business. Somebody has a problem, you solve it, you get paid for solving that problem. That's what wholesaling real estate is at a basic point, right? And so if I could explain it to you, I got charts and fancy infographics to kind of help you out with it, obviously. But honestly, what I could say is in wholesaling real estate, it is the art of finding somebody who wants to sell the property for a discount, putting that property under contract and selling that contract to a rich landlord or house flipper for a $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 profit, right? Now that's still on the low end, like $2,000, $3,000. Now there's deals where you can make $5,000, $10,000, 15, even 100, right? So I would say the average deal in wholesaling real estate is probably between $15,000 to $20,000. My average wholesaling deal is between $30,000 to $35,000. Used to be 40, but doing more deals, it goes down a little more, right? So I made a lot of money in wholesaling real estate, and a lot of people say, oh, he did 1,000 deals. It's not 1,000. It's 1,000 deals as like $30,000, $35,000 a deal being the average, not 15. And I think that's the thing a lot of people don't understand. So wholesaling real estate, you get really rich. You make a lot of money very quick. And the thing is, wait, oh my gosh, this must be illegal. This must be crazy, right? Like, well, how did I not know about this? The honest truth is wholesaling real estate is all done through title companies and attorneys. So if it's a title company, there's usually an attorney there signing everything off. Everything's done very legally. Everything's done all above board. And so the cool part about wholesaling real estate is we have something called the Constitution Clause in the United States, which allows us to form contracts and to sell them. And that's what we do in wholesaling real estate. We sell contracts. There is multiple billion-dollar corporations like D.R. Horton and like Pulte Homes that assign contracts all day. Like, let me give you an example of what billion-dollar organizations do. They agree to go buy a nice piece of land for, let's say, $500,000. They don't want that land. They want another piece of land. They'll sell it to another builder for $550,000, and they just assign it and make a profit. Why can't you do the same thing, right? That's what they do, and it's all legal for them to do, and it's legal for you to do. Corporations and people are the same thing pretty much to a point legally. So that's what wholesaling real estate is. We find people that want to sell the property, and then we sell that contract that we write for it. We don't sell the piece of real estate. We actually sell the contract. And so let me break down an overview of what a 30-day wholesaling deal entails. Now, it seems complicated, and I know I'm going to throw a lot at you if you're a beginner right now, but this is just what a handy-dandy chart of the wholesaling process is. And it's going to sound confusing, but in this video, we're going to break down the entire process. So let's go over the wholesaling process over now. Don't get mad at me. Don't think I'm trying to give you all these crazy, stressful things, but let me just share with you a wholesaling process overview, okay? This is what the wholesaling process looks like, okay? If you go to freewholesaling.com, we got a lot of great handy charts. I'm a visual learner, so it helps me learn a lot more more doing this, but this is it. So this is the basically the wholesaling process overview from day 0 to 30. It takes about 30 days on average for somebody to get a wholesaling real estate deal. So this is how you're going to do it. So really, this is it. So day 1 through 7 is what we call marketing. Marketing is basically the art of finding somebody who wants to sell their piece of real estate. Pretty simple, right? Hey, I want to go sell my house for a discount, right? We find distressed property with our marketing. We might text somebody, might call somebody. Pretty simple, right? Day 7 through 14, we're going to do what we call locking up the property, which is basically just writing up an agreement to buy the property. And we take pictures of the house, we look at it. 14 through 18, we just find the buyer to that piece of real estate. And that is going to be that rich landlord or house flipper that's going to buy the piece of real estate, but they're mostly just buying our contract. Boom, works really well. 18 through 24, we actually walk that buyer through so they can actually see the house. Then we give them what we call an assignment of contract, which is basically the piece of paper stating that we're going to sell the contract for a profit. And it just shows how much we make closing day. Title company gets the check, the money, we get our check, right? Pretty simple. I know it sounds very confusing for everybody starting out, but what I could tell you is this is the process. And if I could explain it even easier, we find somebody that wants to sell their property. We sign an agreement to buy it. We find somebody that wants to go buy that agreement from us. I'm telling you, there's actually a ton of cash buyers. I didn't think there was as many cash buyers when I started this business, but real estate is a huge industry. We walk them through the house. They like it. They sign that assignment of contract. We're basically selling the contract and we close, we make our money. That's what wholesaling is. If any guru tries to tell you this is a more complicated way or do it, they're just trying to sell you money. I don't want to make any money off of you. I'm not here to sell you anything. This is what the process is. So if you're brand new, this is what it is. I don't care what your broke wholesaling guru says. This is what it is. All right. Don't complicate it. All right. That is what the whole entire wholesaling process is. Don't complicate it. All right, guys and gals. And so the first question we got to ask ourselves, and we're going to kind of go down the line here so we can really understand how to do this the right way, but are you in the right market? I think that's going to be the biggest question for a lot of newbies out here. And I think it's the first thing we have to talk about, right? Are you in a good wholesaling real estate market? Or are you in a bad wholesaling market? If you're watching this, there are good markets and there are bad markets. What I tell you is there's more good markets than bad markets. There's probably, I'd say 10 to 15 metros that I would consider not the best. And that's pushing it hard, but like, you know, I can add San Francisco and San Jose into one. So I guess you could call it 10, but if you're in the right market, and really there's only 2 questions you have to ask yourself. You're in the right market or the wrong market in wholesaling real estate. I have personally found, in my opinion, there's 2 factors to figure out if you're in a good market or a bad market for wholesaling. I keep it simple. That's what I do. And it's helped me succeed in this business. So you got to look at the 2 things. It's population and median home price. If your population in your market is above 50,000 for the city you live in, that's good. We like that, right? That is factor number 1. Now, if factor number 1's good, you're in a good market. Now, if you're in a population below 50,000, it's going to be a little rougher. Hopefully your county has a population of over 100,000 that could make it up. But if it's not one of those 2, you live in like, I don't know, Crazyville, Texas with 40 people living in it, and there's not a supermarket, but there's not a Walmart like 40 miles away. That's the nearest Walmart. You're probably in trouble. Okay. That's not good, right? And so what I would say is you probably have to do a virtual market, and we'll break all that stuff down, you know, freewholesaling.com. We have all that stuff there, but you got to make sure you are in the right market. And if you're in the wrong market, got to be a little careful. So are you in the right market or not? Make sure you look at the population. So the first question is like, Zach, why do I have to be in the right population? That makes 0 sense. Guys, population is just like business, all right? In the business of wholesaling real estate, we are selling contract. That's what we do. We sell contract. That's what this business is. So don't overcomplicate it. Don't make this all crazy, but that's what we do. We sell contract. Same thing like selling ice cream. Think about this. If you think of Houston, Texas gets hot, okay? It gets unbearable in the summer, all right? Same thing in Florida. Unbearable, okay? It's insane. Plus you got that humidity from the ocean there too. It's insane. If I was to sell ice cream out of a truck in downtown Houston in the middle of summer, I know there's a lot of customers, all right? It's hot. There's a big demand for ice cream, and there's a lot of people in Houston, right? Now, if I'm in Alaska in December, there's gonna be some, but like not a lot, all right? There's no big demand. Now, if I had hot cocoa in Alaska in December in a decent population, I could probably sell it. Now, if I'm in, you know, the Yukon and there's like 4 people living there, I mean, I might be able to sell 4. Like, you got to be careful, right? And so population's a big one. If you're not having a big customer base, it's going to be a little rough. Like if I want to open a Walmart or like a grocery store, if there's 500 people living in the grocery store, it's going to be a little harder, you know, to make money off there. You want at least 2, 4, 5,000 customers, right? You only 500. It's going to be rough to have a good grocery store, right? And so you need higher population areas, and that's going to be very key for your success in wholesaling. And so in wholesaling, we need enough sellers to constantly get deals. And so you need a good population. I personally found when the city is over 50,000 people, that's enough deals where you can do it every single month consistently. I want everybody watching this to get to at least 100K a month. And if you have at least 50,000 people in your market, you can easily make at least 100K a year. And so you make 50K a month there. That's the goal for everybody. But even a million, but like, let's just make everyone at 6 figures starting out. If you want to make $100,000 a year, you have to have at least 50,000 people in the city. That's just my opinion. But what I can tell you from teaching hundreds of thousands of people wholesaling, that's what the truth is. So if you're in the right market, make sure the population is there. Now, the next part here is the median home price. Are you in a good median home price? Now, you have a big population, but if the average house is selling for $1 million, it's going to be hard because in wholesaling real estate, what we do is we lock up contracts for a discount. And unfortunately, we are human beings. Nobody's perfect. And human beings are very flawed when it comes to psychology. We have a lot of psychological issues. I think everybody here does, right? But the truth is here, when you are looking at the psychological thoughts of people when it comes to negotiations, people are less likely to take a discount to higher the price of something. And that might seem confusing starting out, but let me explain this. So if you are selling, let's say a $10 t-shirt and somebody asks you for a 20% discount on that t-shirt, $2, fine. $2, fine. Sell it for like you're at a garage sale, right? That happens all the time. If I ask for a 20% discount on your $2 million house, you're going to get like a F you, right? They're going to say, screw that. No way. Okay. $400,000 you want off of this? No. But they're both 20%. Why is one an automatic no and one's just pretty much a good yes? Because when the numbers go up, the percentages stay the same, but the prices change. And so when I have personally found when the piece of real estate is over $400,000, it's really hard to get a discount. And here's the problem. When you buy real estate, so if I buy a piece of real estate, closing costs, reselling it if I'm flipping it, those cost percentages stay the same, but the costs go up. And so I'm gonna need big discounts. Like if I'm doing $1 million houses, I need hundreds of thousands of dollars of discounts, where most people aren't willing to do. If I buy a $100,000 house, I don't need that much. And so I have found over time with a lot of lowballing sellers, because that's what I like doing, because I make a lot of money doing it. When the property is below $400,000, like on its best day after repairing it, I have a good chance of getting that deal. When it's above that, it's not a good deal. So you want to make sure the median home price, so the average price of real estate of a house in that market, is below $400,000. Now, we're not going after houses worth 400, probably going after houses worth 250 because there's $1 million houses there, and that's kind of the average. But that's what we want to do. And so you might be like, how do I figure that number out? That's crazy. All you gotta do is go to Google. So go to google.com and search median home price space city, Houston, Texas. And Zillow will pop up with the median home prices. Now, 250 or something like that, right? How to find population, same thing, Houston, Texas population, right? And what you have to understand about the right market is they have to both be the same thing. They both have to be the same. So you have to have a population that's good and a median home price that's good together. So what's something that's not a good market? Los Angeles. Los Angeles has the population, but the median home price is too high. Same thing with San Francisco, New York City, Miami, pretty much, Chicago. Like, that's the issue. Now, what if we flip grip where median home price is like 80K, but population's 1,000? That's not a good deal. What's a good deal? Detroit, Michigan, right? Look at Detroit. The average home is like $75,000 in Detroit, and then the population's in the million. Boom, right? You got to understand though, to a point, I think everybody like understands this if you live in like Detroit or Memphis, that like there's $1 million houses in Memphis, Tennessee. Beautiful, right? You got Graceland, you got beautiful history, great houses, a lot of great working class neighborhoods that are cheap, but there's like very low crime, great areas. In wholesaling real estate, the areas that we want to avoid usually are high crime areas, because unfortunately we're selling these to flippers, and as somebody that flips houses, that used to flip houses in high crime areas, the houses get broken into all the time. There's a lot of issues. You don't deal with squatters. It's a lot harder. A lot of those are Section 8 properties. They're a lot more pain in the butt to wholesale, and you make less on high crime areas. And really, if you look at a city, there's probably 4 or 5 like hotspots of high crime areas, and honestly the rest of them, so like you just avoid about 5% of a city, and then the other 95% you can wholesale, right? And that's honestly what you can find. And so what you really want to do, the best markets and areas for wholesaling, so this goes back to the next questions, like how to find the best areas of wholesaling. Just generally in any city I go to, I want to find the lowest priced houses coinciding with the lowest crime rate. So when prices are low and crime rates are low, those are where the working class people are. And those are the best they're called starter homes sometimes too. They're older houses, they're a little smaller, but these are great pieces of real estate because they're not as renovated. So a lot of house flippers are customers who are buying our contracts like them. They actually make the most money when you rent them out. You get the best return on your money. Those are the best houses to be going after. And how do you figure that out? Honestly, you can do some reverse engineering. Think of where the working class people in the city are, the people that are janitors, people that are mechanics, school teachers, people that are like, they're not making like 1%, like they're not 1%ers, but they work their butts off and they have a nice house in a nice low crime area and they have families, right? Like it's a great place to raise a family too, right? And so those are the best areas I have found. There's usually hot spots where there's a lot of rental properties in that area too. A lot of working class people can't afford a mortgage at the time. It's just the truth. And so that's the best ways to find it. Now, I'm being candid with you. This is how I find the best areas. You can go anywhere around it, but honestly, that's going to be the best way to find it. All right. I think a lot of people get really confused with that, but that's how you do it. So how also do you find the best areas, zip codes for wholesaling, right? I've personally found there's two really good ways to find wholesaling areas. In my opinion, number one, you just ask cash buyers. Just, hey, Mr. Cash Buyer, where are there good wholesalers, right? So where are their best wholesaling deals, or where are the wholesalers at? And they'll tell you, hey, I want to buy in this area. Boom. And then see where wholesalers are doing deals. You can find wholesalers bragging about what addresses they're wholesaling, and then from there, wholesale those areas, right? And so now we know what areas to go after, what makes a good market, what makes a bad market. Let's go to the next part, actually finding these people that want to sell their piece of real estate, right? And so finding the people that want to sell their house for a discount, that's the next question. Like, wait a second, how do I find these people? Because it's confusing why somebody wants to sell their house for a discount. Well, let's get into it. So finding somebody that wants to sell their house at a deep discount comes from actually marketing, like I've said before, where we go and we just reach out to these people. So how do I reach out to somebody? Marketing comes down to really two things: lists and channels. That is it. So let's talk about the first thing, lists. So we got to think of finding somebody that wants to sell their real estate for a big discount. Now, in wholesaling real estate, we have slang. A lot of real estate people have their own like slang that they do. And this one slang word, which you probably hear a lot, and it's a person that wants to sell their house for a deep discount, usually for cash. They're great sellers for wholesaling real estate. These are people what we call motivated sellers. Motivated sellers are people that want to sell their property for a discount. They are motivated to sell the house, pretty much it. And so since they're motivated sellers, we want to go find them and reach out to them. So how do I find a motivated seller, right? This might be shocking to you, but if you go to a list of, say we do Memphis, of a random 50,000 people that are homeowners, I would probably tell you less than probably 0.1% want to sell it for cash or a discount, or they're a motivated seller. That's terrible, Zach. So you're telling me if I have like 1,000 leads, like one of them is going to be a motivated seller? This is unbearable. I can't make any money doing this. Now, yes, it makes crazy, but if I get a list with a motivating factor, the chance of them wanting to be a motivated seller, 10x's, not doubles, not triples, not quadruples, 10x's the chance. Like I think it was 1,000% more likely to be a motivated seller if they have a motivating factor. What's a motivating factor? Motivating factor is going to be, for example, if somebody passes away and they inherit a property that is not renovated, they're a lot more likely to just want to get rid of the property. They don't want to deal with it. They don't want to own the house. And so how do I find these type of really motivated type of lists? We have to pull a list that has a type of motivation on it. So if somebody passes away, that list is what we call a probate list. And so there are 4 distinct lists that I've honestly found, categories that find really good motivated seller deals. What are they? Number 1, what we call government list. This is a list you get from your local government that has any motivating factor. Now, these are lists like the code violations, the water shutoff list, the fire damage property list, the credit card debt lien list, the IRS debt lien list, the arrest record list, the tax delinquencies, liens. I can go on and on forever. And you might be like, Zach, whoa, can you break all these lists down? I would love to break down all these lists right now for you. But what I can tell you is I do not have 10 hours to break this all down today. But what I can tell you is I do have a free course. It's called freewholesaling.com. I'm not going to sell you anything. All right. There's no upsells. You can't put your credit card in anywhere on the website. 0% chance of that. What I do at freewholesaling.com is kind of like this live stream I do. I break down the entire wholesaling process from A to Z. It is a huge course. There is over 100,000 people in it. Active, student, not 100,000 signups, 100,000 active people every single month in that website. And what they do is they learn wholesaling. So like I said, let's say code violation list. I have an entire 2-hour breakdown on code violation. What's a code violation? Why should I pull it? And how do I pull it? And me actually going live and actually pulling that list. You also get links to talk to me one-on-one for free, all these things. I want you to know, you probably have PTSD from YouTube ads and all these crazy things. I was asking to sell me. It's going to want my money. Let me give my word. All right. I'm not going to charge you for freewholesaling.com. I don't want your money. I don't want any of it. Okay. I just want to teach you wholesaling for free. It helped me become a millionaire. I want you to become a millionaire. That is it. That's my gift to the community. That's it. freewholesaling.com. I will not sell you anything in that course. I just want to help you out. But so all these lists I mentioned, they are in that course on how you break it down. So I do recommend everybody watching this, go to freewholesaling.com. I'm probably going to say the word freewholesaling.com a lot, but what I can tell you is you can't learn wholesaling in 2 hours. You can't. I can do a 2-hour live right now. You ain't going to learn in 2 hours. It comes from slowly digest every single day. And in freewholesaling.com, we do have a 30-day wholesaling challenge where for 30 days, I have about a 30-minute, hour-long lesson, like a class so day one, you watch the lesson for 30 minutes, day 2, lesson number 2, and then each one just shows you a different part of wholesaling where it's in chronological order. By day 30, you'll know the entire process in and out. That's what it is, right? And so go to freewholesaling.com, you'll learn it. I'm going to mention freewholesaling.com in this video a lot because some of these videos, like government lists, to pull a code violation list, it's about 45 minutes for me to explain it to you. But once you know it, you don't really have to do it. So I did share code violations, so I'll tell you. A code violation is basically a list you get from the government where there's this thing called code enforcement, and they'll go go around town driving around looking for ugly houses, and if they find an ugly house with either tall grass, structural damage, mold, mildew on the property, they're going to charge that person until they fix that problem because it is against the code for the city. It is an eyesore to the community. Old people like to call code enforcement to rat out, I guess, them so they could fix the community, and they have ugly houses. And so your local code enforcement your local code enforcement department probably has on average 300 code violations actively they just added to the list right now. People have ugly houses. There's a really big chance that's one of those. There's a big $10, $20, $30,000 wholesaling deal. So it's definitely good and advantageous that you go and find it. But go to freewholesaling.com to learn how to actually go out here and pull that list. Now, the second one is what we call paid list. Now, what is a paid list? A paid list is a list that I pay with the software, and they'll find properties that have big motivations that you just can't get from the government. One example of this is like the vacant property list of people that there's nobody living in the house. You can pay for a software and they'll figure that out for you where there's nobody living in the house. Whoa, that's crazy, right? And so nobody lives in the house, but there is an owner that lives outside the house. And if the property's just sitting there abandoned, it probably didn't want to get rid of the property. There's a big motivation for that. And so that's why I love paid lists. There's zombie property lists. There's a lot of really good ones out here. A lot of good motivation, tired landlords. I love this list. I love paid lists like crazy. How do you pull paid lists? I can tell everybody right now, if you want to pull a paid list, just go to listrei.com. That is one of my favorite websites, listrei.com. It's called PropStream. You can try a free trial on how to do it. And there's also one of my other favorite websites. It's called zacdata.com. Zacdata.com. They're both competitors, and honestly, I love them both. I can't tell you one's better than the other. I think they're both very, very good. Some has strengths and weaknesses, and some has other strengths and weaknesses. I love them both. So zacdata.com and listrei.com are the two websites I do recommend for getting paid lists. But yeah, they're great places to do it. And you can do a lot of really cool stuff with that, but I'll write that down in another video. But yeah, you can pay for a list on here. I can tell everybody watching this though, if you're starting out in this business and you got no money, don't pay for anything. Okay. Like, I'm the free guy. All right. I do recommend paying for marketing because that obviously helps you get a wholesaling deal, but you don't have to, right? Like, I started this business with $300. So, all right. Number 3 here are what we call Zillow for sale by owners. That's another good way to find people that want to sell their property for a discount. These are what we call Zillow for sale by owners. So they're listing their house for sale, and they're an owner of a piece of real estate. Sounds pretty easy, right? And as a Zillow for sale by owner, they want to sell the property without a realtor. So there's a good chance it's a wholesaling deal. I love cold calling the Zillow for sale by owners live. Great one. I do share at freewholesaling.com how to pull them, talk to them. I love it, right? It's free, doesn't cost anything. Now, number 4, this is kind of a paid one. This is kind of a free one. This is actually one of my personal favorites. And if you go to freewholesaling.com and you get the links and you learn how to talk to me for free, when I hop with you on the one-on-one talks and we have our conversations and you're in a good wholesaling market, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to tell you to drive for dollars and reverse drive for dollars. And a lot of people watching this video right now are like, oh my gosh, here he goes again, driving for dollars and reverse driving for dollars. I'm sorry. I love it. It works so well. So many wholesalers are getting their first deal from it. I cannot recommend it enough because on average, so let's talk about wholesaling, right? Like you're watching me, so you're not learning what the gurus do, because the gurus they want your money. They want you to spend $5,000 to learn it. $5,000 for a course. They want you to spend $4,000 on marketing. They want you to drop 10 G's just get started in this business. When honestly, if you want to drive for dollars right now and you learn from me for free, you get that $10,000 worth of things to get your deal, probably for $100, maybe $200, and you'll actually work less, do more deals, and make more money by doing this strategy. But gurus don't ever share about how to do this. You know why? They can't make money off of you. And that's the honest truth. I can't justify selling a $5,000 course on how to get in your car and look for ugly house. I can't. And that is what driving for dollars is. You go in your car, get behind the wheel, and you look for ugly house. It's really simple. You know why? Because every guru and their mama tells you to go pull a paid list and text it and spend all this money doing it. And here's the problem. When 4,000 or 5,000 wholesalers in your city try to do that, maybe in your state, do that, they're like sheep with a herd. Okay. Yes, I will pull this list and I'll skip trace it. And then you got 30 people in your own market doing that same exact list. What are you going to do when you do that list? You're going to be the 29th guy or gal calling that person or texting that same exact list. Boring, terrible, right? Guys, here's the problem. The truth is out in wholesaling real estate. Wholesaling is amazing. Wholesaling costs no money. It's completely legal, and you could run up $100,000 in your first year without any money. You can be 16 years old, 17, 18. It doesn't care how old you are, what gender you are, how tall you are, how you sound, what accent. It doesn't matter. If you have a hustle, you can make over 6 figures this year in your first year of wholesaling. And then eventually up to 7 figures. No degree, no education. We don't care. If you want to help people out, you'll get paid in this business. This is why wholesaling real estate works so dang well. Here's the big problem, guys and gals. When it comes to that, a lot of people have learned it. The secret's out about wholesaling. 6 years ago, the secret was still there. It's not there anymore, okay? And so here's the problem. Everyone's doing the same thing. And when everybody's doing the same thing on their marketing, it's like a pond. If everyone's fishing in the same fishing pond, like a lot of competition, it's gonna be harder to catch a fish when everyone's fishing the same thing. They're using the same lure, same thing. This is when driving for dollars goes into place. This is why driving for dollars works. Driving for dollars is old marketing tactic, but it's the best one right now for wholesaling real estate. You know why? Because you can't buy the list. That's right. The gurus don't talk about this method really at all. You know why? Because they can't make money off of you, so they don't talk about it, which means no one really in your market is doing this like crazy, unless you're in like a huge like market, and that's obviously a little different. But like, just get in your car and look for ugly houses. Chances are that ugly house is not on any of the lists. You can do very well. Now, on top of that, you do what we call reverse drawing for dollars. Now, I am having a decent amount of followers lately, and so there are some people drawing for dollars in the market. It used to be a big secret. Now there are some. So let's go the extra leg up. You know what we call reverse drawing for dollars. It's basically when you find an ugly house. Usually in drawing for dollars, you use like dmzac.com, which is basically a software that helps you do it really quick and easy. Just click it, boom, it's on there. They skip trace the list. They find the person's phone number. That's what skip tracing is, and they call them up, right? On top of that, if you want to do reverse drawing for dollars, it actually increases your success even more. You just get a sticky note. You can write something really simple like, hey, this is Zach. I had a quick question about your property. Please give me a call back. Slap that on the door, and you'll get a huge response rate on it, over 40-50%. They call you, so the leads actually come to you. You have a conversation, boom, you reach out and find the motivated sellers. That's it. Like, oh my gosh, what they call me? What do I say? Hey, are you looking to sell your property? Me and my partner are actually looking for people who are looking to sell the property in the area. This is a good area for us to buy. No, I'm not looking to sell. No big deal. Oh, maybe I'm looking to sell. And you have the conversation then, right? Drawing for dollars, reverse drawing for dollars. Highly recommended. Telling you, the gurus do not want you to know about it because they can't make money off of you. So this really breaks down to the marketing channel. And so this is when we actually start the marketing process, right? And so I think a lot of wholesalers get this one confused too. And I legit don't know why, but I can tell you is we pull lists and we pull the marketing channel. I love fishing. You might see some fishing books here, but like, I love fishing. All right. And I always look at fishing and marketing the same way, because in fishing, you have two things. You have a rod and you have a reel, right? That's it. You also have a hook on the other line too. So you have the rod and reel, and then you basically have the hook or the bait, right? So I got my fishing rod and reel, and then I got my bait. That's how I catch fish, right? And so what I like to do is I have my rod and reel, and I maybe put a bad bait or a good bait on it, right? And that's how it works. And so I like fishing in the crazy big wild ocean, 1,000-pound fish, crazy stuff, right? Huge marlin, sailfish, love that stuff, right? And so what I can tell you is if you have a really, really bad rod and really good bait, you're going to catch the fish. Like, it's going to hook it, but that rod might snap in half, and then boom, you don't catch the fish. Sad, right? On the other hand, if you have a really good rod, a really nice one, but you have like nothing really on the bait, no one's going to go bite it, right? The key here is to have a really good rod and really good bait. And so you can catch the fish, it's attracted to it through the bait, and the rod's not going to snap in half. It's awesome, right? Here's the big issue, guys and gals. Wholesaling's the same way. The list is the bait and the marketing channel is the reel. You can't be really good at one and bad at the other. You have to have both of them very decent. I'd rather you be okay at both than have one good and one bad. And so the list is the bait that attracts, and then the channel's going after it with the with the rod and reel. And so where are the best ways? So what's a marketing channel? Marketing channel is basically the vehicle that we use, not literally, but it's the method we use to go let people know in a list that I'm looking to buy properties for cash, or if they're asking if they're looking to sell it. So what do? Pretty simple. I stick to the basic. There are really 3 marketing channels I think you guys should really stick to. And honestly, if you want to complicate this, you can. There's a million ways to do it. But honestly, if you're starting out, you want to get started, there's 3 ways. All right. It is what we call, number 1, cold calling. So I basically on my phone. If you guys watch my live stream I did yesterday, I actually went out here and I cold called for an hour and a half. Pretty fun. So I have a list, call them up. Hey, you're looking to sell your property? Pretty simple. Now I have other scripts. I like to say, hey, are you doing the property? Are you interested in selling it? We call them up. On top of that, number 2, that's as complicated as it should be. Now at Wholesale.com, we have scripts, what to say. So maybe like, wait, Zach, whoa. But what do I say if they do want to sell their house? What do I do? Oh my gosh, trust me, Wholesale.com got it. Now I also share my script on how to talk to sellers too, because I think that's something that a lot of people have anxiety on. So I will share this in this video too. Just wait a couple minutes. Number 2, SMS Text Box. I love SMS Text Box. That's when you go out here and you text sellers on a list if they're looking to sell their house. Pretty simple. And then number 3, you just have your reverse drawing for dollars. There's sticky notes because they call you back. Pretty simple, right? There's other methods, right? So it's like, wait, Zach, you got your first deal putting those we buy ugly houses signs. So that I got my first I made my first $100,000 in wholesaling at 17 years old by putting we buy ugly houses signs. They're called called what we call bandit sign. You stick them in the ground, it says "We buy ugly houses," and it has a sign on it, right? That worked really well 6 years ago. It's not working too well versus 6 years ago, so I don't recommend it for people. I honestly would have made more money cold calling and reverse running for dollars, but that's for a different story. If you want to hear my whole wholesaling story, I didn't want to waste 45 minutes talk. I have a full hour where I break down my whole story really quick. 17 years old in high school, my dad did really good in wholesaling. He didn't want to he didn't really want to do much with me with it, right? So I basically was on my own there. He kind of told me, hey, this is what you should do. Here's some books. And I just got my first deal. Second deal, made 100K. Partnered up with him after I think I made over $250,000, at least 300,000. And then we partnered up together. I helped him scale it up. We own the wholesaling business together. And we have the largest wholesaling business pretty much in the, I would say on the Treasure Coast by far. In all of South Florida, that might be pushing it. I know some guys that are pushing over 10 million in assignment fees there. And we're not that in the South Florida market only. So I can't say that. But overall, I do a lot of virtual wholesaling, all that stuff. But yeah, the whole story is there. Pretty cool. Right. So the thing you have to understand is like, all right, Zach, I can pull a list. I can do this. And the next question is, how do I find people's phone numbers, right? That makes no sense to me. Finding somebody's phone number is what we call skip tracing. And skip tracing is finding somebody's whereabouts. It's a detective term. And really, how do you find somebody's phone number? You can use a website for free, or you can use a website and pay for it, right? Obviously, when you pay for the information, you get a lot better, but you can get it for free. So if anybody wants to go out here and actually find somebody's phone number absolutely for free, and they don't want to pay for it, let's say you find an ugly house in your area right now, you just want to call them up. A good website that I love, it's called truepeoplesearch.com. Again, let me explain this. Truepeoplesearch.com. That is actually an amazing website where you can find pretty much anyone's phone number. About 60% accurate. Now you can pay for a service like ZachData.com. Actually, ZachData.com is the best skip tracing. ListRA.com, I'd say, is the second best one. And then third best is DMZach.com. But I can tell you, skip tracing is amazing, right? And so use the paid ones if you have the money for it. If not, use truepeoplesearch.com. The paid one's a lot easier. The free one is a lot more work, but yeah. So yeah. All right. Next one here is acquisitions. So yes, so acquisitions is basically the process of actually going out here and finding a contract to lock it up. That is what it is. All right. We go out here and our sole focus, our sole finding, like we are looking at one goal for acquisitions. That is getting a deal locked up, getting a contract signed. So it's pretty simple. And I don't want to complicate this. Marketing, the only point of marketing is finding somebody who wants to sell the property for cash. Acquisitions is getting that property under contract for the lowest price. So I told everyone, I'll tell you, if you have some anxiety talking to sellers what to say, this is it. So if somebody says, hey, I'm looking to sell my property for cash. Okay, great. And you're like, wait, what do I say? This is what you say. Step one, there's 3 steps in closing a deal. Number 1, someone wants to sell the property. We think of MCTP. MCTP stands for motivation, condition, time frame, and price. That's what we ask. Hey, Mr. Seller, motivation. Why are you looking to sell the property? C, condition. Hey, Mr. Seller, can you tell me a little bit about the property? T, time frame. Hey, Mr. Seller, when are you looking to sell the house? And then P, price. What price are you looking to sell the property for? That is it. And then from there, you get off the phone, say something like, hey, Mr. Seller, I gotta look at this property with my partner. Is it okay if I can call you back tomorrow and we can see what I can do, maybe see that property or not? Sure, no big deal, right? You get off the phone. You don't close them on the first call. You don't do any of this. I like to go see the properties in person. If I do virtual wholesaling, I can actually go out here and close it over the phone, whatever way you want to do it, right? Number 2, you get off the phone, right? And so what we're going to do is find our LAO and our MAO. So MAO is short for max allowable offer. There's formulas. It's not that complicated. Basically what MAO is, you just want to figure out what a cash buyer is going to buy it for. And how do you figure that out? You figure out what the property will be worth, all brand spanking new. So if it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, it's 1,000 square feet. We're going to look in that area for the last 6 months of recently sold properties like that, which is, it's like, all right, if you have a Ford F-150, and so I have a Ford F-150, and it was a 2021, and it's got 30,000 miles on it, let's say, and I want to go sell it now. What is it worth? I'm just going to look at what other ones are selling for right now, 2021 Ford F-150s with 30,000-ish miles, and see the last, 15 sold in the state of Florida. And then I can figure it out pretty quick, right? Same thing for houses. And I show you at Wholesale.com actually how to do that. It's really not that complicated. And then LAO, we're going to figure out what our least allowable offer is, which is basically what's the lowest we can give of a low ball starting out. Pretty simple, right? Step 2, we call them back and we say, hey, when's a good time for us to meet up? You go meet the person at the property. You basically condition the seller. So conditioning the seller, I don't want to complicate it too much, but you say, hey, Mr. Seller, before I actually go see the property, are you ready to make a yes or no decision on selling it? I don't waste your time or my time and only go buy the property once. Basically what that big spiel was is you just ask them, hey, are you ready to make a decision on selling the property right now today? Because when you go give them a low ball offer and they say yes or no, pretty simple, but maybe they say maybe. And if they say maybe, that's not good either, because maybe if they give me the maybe, then there's no deal, because like, I might want to sell it, I might not. And then you're in limbo and time kills all deals. You do not want to do that. And so you need to get a yes or no. That'll actually give you more chances of getting the deal, I promise you. And what we do is the go for no strategy. And the go for no strategy is when negotiating, we are going to give an offer that we know the seller is going to say no on. And hands down, it's the best strategy. Just give an offer that we know is going to say no. Don't be too offensive, but make sure they're going to say no on it. So we can squeeze the most money out of the deal possible. This is how you make $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 on a wholesaling deal. You want to squeeze the most money out of the deal. Then from there, we can use like a good cop, bad cop. Hey, Mr. Seller, I was talking to my partner, Rick, and he told me he was looking to buy this house for $100,000. Oh my gosh, that's way too low. Hey, I know, Rick's crazy. What works for you? And then you negotiate from there. You lock up the contract, and then from there, that's all the point of acquisitions. We do what we call disposition. And dispositions is basically a fancy term for us selling a deal. We're disposing of the deal, the contract, or profit, right? We're selling the whole real estate deal. And so dispositions, we're looking for people to buy our contract for a profit. These are people who we call cash buyers. They want to buy the house for cash. They're going to buy our contract, give us our nice assignment fee. So dispositions is amazing. It's not as complicated as people seem. So how do I find people that want to buy my contract for cash? Now, I'll tell you this, in wholesaling real estate, I didn't think there were a lot of cash buyers. I was like, I could see people that have ugly houses. I get that. But how am I going to find somebody who's going to want to buy a contract? This seems confusing. There's a lot of people buying. There's a lot of cash buyers out there because real estate is a $1 trillion industry. It's huge. And real estate makes money. Okay. I buy a piece of real estate, I can rent it out, and it can produce passive income. It's amazing. It is one of the largest investment vehicles in the entire world. And in the United States, it is actually the largest investment vehicle if you consider where most people invest their money, because in their mortgages. So they're technically investing in real estate. Now, that's for individual owners, stock market, you can say corporations, but they all invest in real estate too. So real estate comes with everything, right? The majority of millionaires own real estate, and that's how people do it, right? Real estate's the best. And so for dispositions, you got to understand, we're looking for people who want to buy our contract. People who want to buy your contract in wholesaling real estate, usually 99.5% of the time, they're either going to buy it for two reasons. Number one, to buy the house, maybe renovate it, but they're looking to buy the house and just rent it out. They want to make cash flow. They want to rent it out. They want to be a landlord. That's where half of them are. The other half of them want to buy it, renovate it, and then flip it for a nice profit. Make $40,000, $50,000 on the flip, right? They're the house flippers. That's pretty much the in between. I'm both of them. I'm a cash buyer too, because I make a lot of money wholesaling and I invest that money into real estate and stuff that makes me money, right? Hey, me, right? And so I'll either buy properties and rent them out, or I'll buy properties and flip them. I like to do both of them, right? And so sometimes they're interchangeable, sometimes they're not. It just depends. And so let's talk about the landlord cash buyers, the landlord people for dispositions first. This is what we're going to call the landlord buyers, the people that are looking to buy it and rent it out. These, how you find them is basically just cold call the for rents. If I'm renting a property out, if I cold call people that are listing the property for rent, most likely a landlord or a realtor for the landlord, which we can go and reverse engineer the owner and then call them up, skip trace them, use like listarea.com, zachdata.com. You can find it really easy. I love that stuff, right? So cold call the for rents, Zillow, you can do realtor.com. There's a lot of places, Craigslist, Facebook, just cold call the for rents. Guess what? Wholesaling.com, baby. You can go out here and actually find that list. So it works out pretty well. Number two, you can cold call the cash sales. So cash sales, how we find the flippers. If somebody buys a house for cash, all right, and then they go put the property on the market and then they sell it for a big profit in about a 5-6 month period, there's a 90% chance they're a house flipper. And software like listrea.com actually find us house flippers, and you can pull that list really easy. I love it. Cold call the cash sales, good one. Number three, you can cold call title companies. So title companies actually deal with wholesaling transactions. Okay, it's actually crazy, but got lunch there. All right, but you can actually do cold call. You can actually cold call the title company. Now, a title company, they will do the wholesaling transaction for us, the middleman for that, and we'll break that down next couple minutes there. But title companies, you just ask them, hey, we're some good cash buyers that are buying private for cash in the area, and of course, the title company wants you to make money with you, closing with them, so they'll give you it. I love title companies; they always provide great cash buyers. And then number four, you just go to the local property auction. I love the local property auctions. I'll tell you this: you go to a local property auction, there are going to be people bidding on property to buy cash. And so if they're bidding on one piece of real estate and there's 50 people there, only one person won. And that means 49 people lost on the bidding. They got money and they're looking to auction off and buy properties for cash. They're sad. They didn't win the bid. That's 49 people that are sad that have money ready to go to buy more real estate. Go to the local property auction. They're there. And then the last part here in wholesaling real estate is what we call the title company. And that was the last one. And really the title company, I can tell you that is going to be the middleman. That is going to be the third party transaction person. And really how title companies work is they are going to be the ones really paying them. And so they are the trusted third party company, intermediary, if you really want to call it that, that is going to handle handle the entire wholesaling process for you and the real estate selling process of the seller. And so it gives you a lot of legitimacy too. So how title companies work with wholesaling is, let's say for example, let's teach you how to get paid in wholesaling, right? So if I lock up a property, let's say for example, for $100,000, I bring that contract to the title company. They start the title work. They want to make sure that it's a legitimate owner. They can give title insurance. And really how title insurance works from a fourth grader view, if I'm teaching this to a fourth grader. Basically, when you buy a piece of real estate, you want to make sure it's the actual owner and it's not a fraudulent person. And so title insurance, if they sell to you fraudulently and you pay them 200 grand, you have insurance if the title was wrong, that you will get your 200 grand back. Because if it's a fraudulent owner, then the real owner can take the property back and you lose out 200 grand. That's like, most people, that's all the money they have. You can go lose everything if you do that. So that's why title insurance is very important. But really what you do is they have the contract. So you give them the contract, they start the title work, you assign that contract to the cash buyer, you bring that assignment of contract over to the title company, and that assignment of contract will show something simple like, hey, I'm selling the deal for $120,000. The contract, so Zach gets $20,000 profit because 120 minus 100 is $20,000. And then at closing, how that works is the cash buyer at closing day will give $120,000 to the title company. Title company will give $100,000, which you agreed with the seller to give them $100K, and then you get a nice $20,000 check. And when you get that check, you're going to be like everybody at freewholesaling.com. All right. So let me show you what the people at freewholesaling.com look like. All right. And at closing day, this is what you look like. Okay. Now, did I tell you freewholesaling.com is the largest wholesaling real estate course in the country? I don't think I lied about that, right? And so this is freewholesaling.com. So really, all you do is put your email password and it'll create your account for you there, right? But look at all these people. Look at Phil. Look at Phil right here.
I got a little first. I had some rentals done the whole.
Phil's a happy camper right here.
About 5 weeks ago.
Where is it? All right, right here. Look, Phil's a happy camper right there. Look at that check.
In 5 weeks, made a little $20,000 assignment fee. This should have been a $40,000 stack list right there, but found it on foreclosures. But anyway, Rick in, Zach in, you guys are the freaking man.
They did good. Benji made 50K. Does he have his check right there?
I had one question, but I just want to start off by saying thank you guys so much. I just finally closed that deal I've been working on for 5-6 months.
Finally.
Yeah, dude. The probate foreclosure, that took forever. But I just can't thank you guys enough because my whole mindset and perspective.
Where's the check? Right, look at that.
$50,000.
50 grand.
Gosh, that's a lot of money.
Woo! Dude. That's a $50,000 check right there. Look at it. Like, all right, you know what? I can go on and on forever, but look at these. All right, these are all people on freewholesaling.com. They didn't pay me a dime, absolutely for free. I can go on and on and on forever on this, right? Like, I got a million of them. I'll just keep uploading the checks you all send to me, but like, I'm telling you, it works. Thousands and thousands of dollars. Freewholesaling.com. So if I did not convince you to sign up for freewholesaling.com, I don't know what else will. All right, I about probably 100 more checks I should upload on that website, but I don't want to go it up forever. But guys, if you go to freewholesaling.com, that is where I teach you wholesaling real estate. All right, I got the whole breakdown. I got the 30-day wholesaling challenge, everything like that. Go to freewholesaling.com. This is the time for it. So that's the whole entire wholesaling real estate breakdown. What I can tell you is the people that become successful, people make millions and hundreds of thousands. Go to freewholesaling.com. They learn it. They ask questions on the one-on-ones and they become better wholesalers. Now, the one thing I want to leave everybody watching this to understand is wholesaling real estate seems like a crazy thing, right? You make a lot of money in a short period of time. And a lot of people get really entitled. They feel like they deserve to get a deal. Guys, you don't deserve anything in life. Nothing in life is guaranteed. Life itself isn't guaranteed. But the one thing that is guaranteed is you showing up every day and doing what you need to do to get the results that you want. You don't get what you deserve. You don't get what you want, you get what you deserve. And if you think you deserve to make $100,000 this year, go out here and do the work that matches it. The one mantra I could tell everybody, okay? There's one mantra I could tell you if you want to make money in this business. And this, even for a beginner, I want them to understand this. This is life. This is wholesaling real estate. The one equation I can tell you is what we call action equals result. If you want to get result, you want to get, let's say, look at Benji there, $50,000. If you want to make a $50,000 check, there's no money that's going to stop you. Freewholesaling.com teaches you all that. The only thing to get that result is you're going to have to take action to get that result. So stop looking at the result. Start looking at the action it's going to take to get that result. How do you get that result? Go to freewholesaling.com. Start going after it. That is it.